Comedy. It's Mark Masters. It's another Monday night. We're doing this. We got Candy, the comedian, who emailed me looking for the link. So hopefully they're getting on soon. In the meantime, I got a ton to talk about. A lot of neat things going on. Here's a fun story. Found out that Jim Gaffigan, you've heard of him. He's been on Saturday Night Live recently playing Tim Waltz. Walls? How do you say that guy's name? I should probably know that. That's why I don't talk about politics on stage. Anyways, Jim Gaffigan, he came to the Vail area. I run the Vail Comedy Show, Vail Comedy Festival. He did not pop into my show. That would be even cooler than the story I'm talking about. My show, oh, here comes Candy, looks like. Let me finish this story real quick, and then I'll pull her in when she gets her camera all centered and whatnot. Anyways, I run a show. It's at a hotel right now. We've moved a lot of venues, but we've been at this hotel for a while. It's a great spot. We've done festival shows there. We've done the monthly comedy show there. And Jim Gaffigan stayed at that hotel. And a little birdie told me that he stayed at that hotel because he saw that they have a monthly comedy show. How cool is that? He just wanted to support a business that supported comedy. Doesn't know me at all, although we did meet once in New York City. He was very nice to me. I thought that was such a neat little story. And as a fun afternote, that venue hotel has changed management and is giving us the boot. So we are going to a new home. But that's a nice, sweet story that I liked, that Jim Gaffigan stayed at that hotel just because of Vail Comedy Show. If you're ever going to be in Vail, go to vailcomedyshow.com. Candy, I'm going to pull you up in a second. Or can you get on camera? I think Candy can hear us. We'll see. We're going to find out. We're going to learn all.
I can hear you.
Oh, there you are.
I'm wondering if you can hear me.
Can you hear me, Candy?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you too well. Can you?
Well, you know what? I didn't put on any makeup, so that's a good thing.
Well, this is a video medium. So you want to reschedule for a different time?
No, I just don't want to be looked at. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is it's a video thing. It's like a TV appearance. Okay, I guess that was it for Candy the comedian. We'll turn this into a solo episode. That'll be fun. That'll be fine. Or maybe she's gonna hop back on after she goes through makeup. In fact, let me send her a nice email and let her know that's fine. Okay, there goes that. So that was the Jim. Oh, it looks like Candy is back. Candy, are you able to get on camera? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know if you can hear me, Mark.
I can hear you.
I don't know.
I'm gonna fix your name.
I don't know if you can hear me, Mark.
I can hear you.
There I am.
I can hear you. You got your best Halloween.
Can you hear me?
Terrific.
I see me.
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. So just so you know, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I keep an apartment. Okay, I keep an apartment in a really rural area on the. Oh boy. Yes, that's me. But can you hear me? I can hear you
You're
fine.
talking about rural areas. Maybe your internet isn't outstanding.
I can hear you fine.
Let's get into the comedy stuff, if that's okay. Are you ready for a question?
I'm right here. So here's the thing. You can hear me. I just want you to know I'm in a very rural area. I don't know if I mentioned that. On the Colorado River between Lake Havasu and Parker, Arizona. If you have any idea, it's in the middle of the desert.
No, all you told me was make sure.
So I'm 2.5 hours from Palm Springs, 2.5 hours from Las Vegas.
Okay,
Right.
I think we're having some technical.
It's not great here. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Why don't you start
if you
talking
can hear
about
me
assisted
fine.
living comedy shows or whatever you call them? Can you tell us
I'm
a little
waiting.
bit
I
about
didn't
how
hear
you got
you.
started with those kinds of comedy shows and what they're like?
Says you're in the
Okay.
show.
Candy, can you hear me? Maybe if I type the question, you'll hear me, and you can just
Okay,
talk or
I'm
answer.
waiting for a question. It did not come through, just so you
Okay.
know.
Oops. I guess I posted that to everybody, but hello, online
Okay,
audience,
right
by the way.
now I'm in the middle of the desert
Yep.
on the Colorado River
Yeah, we got that,
between
Candy. Candy, can you tell me
California and
about
Arizona.
anything about comedy? Talk about comedy, please. All right. Mark in the Carolinas says, hello, Mark. We're having some technical difficulties, it appears.
Okay, yeah. I call them retirement communities.
Okay.
So it was very strange how I fell into it. I was going around. You can't hear me?
Yeah, no. Yes. Continue.
Yes, yes, yes. Mark, so what happened is I was playing badminton in Bernalillo, New Mexico. And because I don't live there, you can't hear me.
I can hear you. Continue.
I can, and I'm answering. Mark, I'm answering the question. You can't hear me, huh?
I can hear you. Please answer the question.
Okay. Yes, I am. I was playing badminton in Bernalillo, New Mexico. And one of the guys said, "Who are you? I've never seen you around here." I said, "I'm a comedian on tour trying to get back into some clubs that I haven't been in a long time. So I'm driving around." And so he said, "You know what? I'm an entertainer and I do a lot of retirement communities. You should try that. Ask for the activity director." And so I looked some up and they hired me right away. And then I found out there's zillions of them. So
Nice.
I do about 30 a month. I know. I average about 30 a month, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot harder. I think you were at the show, so I think you saw it's a little harder room than, when they pay, they've been drinking and, they know what they're there for. So,
I don't
but
know if the timing is
it's
going to
worth
work
it.
out on this question. Thank you for explaining that. Retirement home comedy shows, fascinating. You're doing 30 plus a month. I went to see one of your shows, and one of the things that was interesting to me is they were drinking. What percentage of the retirement community shows you do is there alcohol?
I would say about 50%. 50%. Yeah. And it's really nice. There's good and bad. The bad thing is they're not professional. So they make a real lot of noise.
Okay.
And it takes them a while to calm down. At comedy clubs, the waitresses whisper, the clients whisper. No, not in a retirement home. They're shouting their orders and they're shouting everything you could possibly think of. Or they'll see each other across the room and go, "Hi!" And they don't understand that you have to hear every single word is crafted, so
Right.
that they get the setup is just as important as the punch, or they forget the punch if you don't get the setup. So yeah.
What's a
So
typical length of a retirement community comedy show?
I do 45 minutes.
Okay.
And I think what they do is they, like, for musicians and stuff, they book an hour. I don't know how much of that hour that they do. It's like getting a massage. You book an hour massage, but the standard is 50 minutes. I don't think that's fair with the massage. But anyway, I let them know ahead of time that the show is 45 minutes.
Okay, great. Do you ever have to bring your own equipment, like a PA and microphone, or do all these places have their stuff?
No, and I have lumps on my throat now, and I'm pretty sure that's why. Because some of the places actually have a little bit of equipment. Some of them I just use their karaoke, but mostly it's my voice and projection. And I have sores all over my neck. I'll show it to you when I come to Colorado next August.
Jeez, brutal. Okay, you have a crazy story about doing a retirement community comedy show?
Well, I have other crazy stories because, I do clubs, I do casinos, I've done military bases. Did you do Okinawa, Mark? Did you ever do that gig?
I haven't done it yet.
Okay, you should. It's cool. Okay. But you do Okinawa and Osan, Korea, and you do military bases. And when we got there, the other comedian was out of LA as well. And his name was Courtney G. Do you know the Courtney G story?
No.
Okay, he got arrested as soon as we got into Korea. And because they were waiting for him. Because the last time he did that gig, he ordered a custom-made suit with a stolen credit card.
Jeez.
And the thing is, they have the little, every hotel says like Okinawa this week, they know you're coming.
Right.
Because your picture's on the magazine. You know how they have it in Las Vegas, hotels and all that. So They knew Courtney G was coming. So they're waiting to arrest him. We didn't do Korea first. We did Okinawa first. So they knew. So we did the Okinawa gig, flew to Korea, and then we were going back to Okinawa to do some more gigs. And they arrested him at the airport. And the thing is, he didn't miss any gigs. That was the amazing thing. So that was like the funniest thing I think that ever happened. But
That's
a lot of people,
story.
Yeah.
What's the most number of people you perform for at a retirement community comedy show?
Oh, at a retirement community, sometimes they get some pretty good crowds. I would say 100.
Wow. In like a proper theater, or is it like a cafeteria kind of setting?
They'll do it in like I did one for New Year's Eve, and they'll have special rooms, and actually some rooms that are too big and didn't fill, but some places have some really elegant crystal ballrooms, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's really nice. Yeah, definitely.
What time is the New Year's Eve show? Is it at midnight?
No. I think I did it at 8:00. It was in Miami last year.
Okay.
And it was like, but they were all dressed up,
That's fun. That's
again, cool. They were drinking, and it took a while for everybody to settle down. So that's why I do jokingly, I do crazy announcements at the beginning. I don't know if you remember. It's like I do.
Yeah, sure.
This show is rated PG-65.
Right.
That's what I say. I say, so that means you have to be at least 65 to be here unless you brought your parents. How many people here brought their parents? And I put my hand up like they should be holding up a hand. And once in a while, a person's being goofy and they'll point to their partner or one of their friends. And occasionally there is a daughter or a son visiting their parents, and they came to the show. So,
nice.
But it's a lot of fun. I wrote a couple things just for them.
Do you ever get lodging as part of these shows? And do you ever stay in the community?
I have, and there's a couple places, mostly it's called Atria Senior Living. So there's one in San Luis Obispo, and when you stay, they feed you too, which is very nice.
Nice.
So and you sit with them, and some of the people you recognize from the show, or sometimes I get there before the show, and then I've done things where I've had breakfast there, and then I went and did a show somewhere else, and then came back and did a show there. And so I try to recruit everybody to come.
Nice.
Kind
of like a cruise ship on land a little bit.
Exactly. Well, have you done cruise ships?
Not yet, no.
Okay. I was going to ask, do you sit with the clients and anything like that? You know Ron Reed that books cruise ships?
No, maybe I should look him
I'll
up.
give you his number. His number.
Terrific.
Yeah. I don't know if you're the cruise ship type, but he books them. He he used to manage, he didn't book it, but he used to manage the Comedy Underground, Seattle.
Oh,
You ever
okay.
do that?
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. Well, there was two managers, Ron Reed and Carl Warmenhoven. I don't know what, I never used to work with Ron. I always used to work with Carl.
Okay.
But later, Ron hosted me. It's kind of a tragic thing. His wife, who was my age, had got cancer very young and died.
Mm.
And he was left with like a 17-year-old daughter. And so the next time I came through, he asked if I would stay in the guest room because he wanted he wanted a female, I guess, role model. I said, I don't really think I'm a very good role model. I wouldn't count on me for that. But you know what? My parental instincts kicked in, and I just adored her. And we did horse rescue, which is something she did with her mom. And Ron paid for us to go to the spa to get a spa day, which is something she did with her mom. And it turned out very sweet. I learned a lot about myself having these, mommy instincts I didn't know I had.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So you're very prolific at doing these retirement communities, up to 30 a month, you mentioned. So
I've
part of
done
that,
more than that. I've done 44 a month. I average 30 a month.
amazing. So
Oh.
prolific is the right word, I think. And part of
Yeah.
this is salesmanship. What are some of your tricks to selling your comedy show to new places, or is one of the tricks that you go back, you're so, they're so happy with your work that, you just return every 6 months or year, or tell
Okay,
us about.
so it's called marketing.
Okay.
And and the thing is, I was, when I had a day job, I was marketing VP of marketing and legal affairs. And so what I learned from doing that, and also I did some years of collection. So I learned how to make calls, take notes, follow up, and put a kit together. So but you had to have a press kit. You have
Yeah.
one too. Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, I did that. I still do that with comedy. But almost all the places I do, I can go back to, and it's just but I have a little schedule that I do. So in the summer, I head north. So I do California, Oregon, and I'm gonna be. That's where we met, right? In Oregon.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Medford, Oregon.
Are you doing that gig next year?
October. I was just emailing about this with somebody. Late October, early November. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be there. I think in June. Yeah, first weekend
Okay.
of June, which is when I was there last time. So that's
Nice.
I have to pick the same kind of time because I'm coming up from California, headed to, after I do Medford, the next day I do Roseburg, and I
Okay.
think they still
I
haven't
did a
paid
show in
me.
Roseburg in 2023, actually. I've been there. Beautiful
Ah, beautiful what?
theater. It was like
Oh,
a rock and roll venue.
oh,
Yeah.
neato. What's it called? Do you remember?
I don't, but if you email me later, I'll look it up. I keep track all that stuff.
Okay. Um, well, then right when I leave, okay, so then I do Roseburg, that's on Sunday. And then Monday, then for like the next couple weeks, I do the Northern Oregon, Vancouver, Washington area. And
Oh,
I'll stay,
cool.
yeah, and I'll stay there for a couple weeks, stay about 2 weeks. Then I head to Seattle and I stay there about 2 to 3 weeks.
So
And then I
so
go,
again, this marketing, so electronic press kit, that's your secret to success. You
no, I
Okay.
wouldn't, no, you make the phone call first,
Okay.
get the activity director's email address. I
Okay.
leave a detailed message if it's on voicemail, and I describe the show if they don't know me, or they, because they do switch activity directors around.
Okay.
Some, people quit, people get fired. I don't know, but
Sure.
not always the same, and they move around amongst the retirement communities as well. So, yeah, that's what I do. I make the call first, then
Okay.
I follow it up immediately with an email.
Okay.
Then I wait a couple weeks, or depending on what they said, I call again. Now, I used to make calls. I used to start like a month before I was going to be somewhere. I don't do that anymore. I do 2 months ahead. So
Okay.
I've been working on December, actually since a little bit since September, because
Okay.
I'm doing Florida in December and January. Well, the thing is about December is that they have so much budget and they plan a lot of parties in December, as you can imagine.
They got to
And I
spend it
try to
or
get
they lose
their
it.
what?
They got to
Yeah,
spend
I
it or
have to
they
get
lose
their
it.
right. I have to get their entertainment budget money as quick as possible. I learned that the hard way. So I'm still working on
You,
Florida for
you don't
December
have
while
to.
I'm
Sorry,
what?
you don't have to answer this, but I'm sure people
Uh-oh.
watching this and listening to this
Uh-oh.
are curious. What is
Uh-oh.
a range of entertainment budget that you might get?
Oh. Well, Mark, I have to tell you a little background story,
Okay.
but I will tell you I'll answer it first.
Okay.
I tell them they can pay me what they can afford.
Okay.
Whatever their budget is. I say I'm flexible with the budget is how I put it. When I say or they say, how much do you charge for an hour show, or how much do you charge for your show? I email back or tell them on the phone, I'm flexible. What's your budget? And I put it on them to tell me, because to tell you the truth, a lot of them pay me way more than I would have asked for or for. And so I just let them tell me, because one thing I learned from being in London, I went to Wimbledon, if you don't mind my telling you how this got inspired. But I'm a big tennis fan. I went to Wimbledon, and I have an agent in London. I've done shows in London. And so I decided one of the things I really want to do, this is in 2002, was go to Wimbledon. So I got in touch with my London agent. I said, listen, I'm coming for these couple weeks around Wimbledon, because I'm coming from Wimbledon. Please get me some gigs. And then I got in touch with him. By the way, one of the things he said was, no, you can't come. The soccer thing, what's that big called? They do every 4 years.
World Cup. Yeah.
World Cup is going on and England's still in it. No, I can't even get my own people work. I said, listen, I have to come then, because I can't change when Wimbledon is. And so I'm coming for Wimbledon. And, and they kind of warned me that. So on the plane over, they lost. And then England lost. And apparently then they were too depressed to go to pubs and go to comedy clubs. So it took a while for him to get me a gig, but he did get me one in Killarney, Ireland. And that was really cool. So anyway, yeah, it was great. But the reason I do that is because, so then I got in touch with him. I said, okay, I'm going online looking at tickets for Wimbledon. And I asked for his advice. And they were like 600, 800. He goes, no, that's not how you do it. We're a socialist country, he said. And what they do is everybody goes to see whatever match they want. And on opening day, most people just go for the opening day match and they leave. And they put their tickets back in and they mark them down and resell them. So, and you queue up, and I think, they opened at, I don't know, let's just say they opened at 2, but maybe it was noon. I queued up to like within 2 hours of them opening up, and it was really pleasant. And I was way ahead. And I got in for like $16, and I spent 8 hours there and saw a million matches. I saw the Williams sisters. I don't remember which one, but I only know that I did see one because her mom was sitting next to me, because her mom used to wear a rainbow afro wig. And so her daughters, when they looked up, they could find her easily.
Nice.
And so, yeah. So then I was in Canada. Did you do Yuck Yucks? Have you done Yuck Yucks?
I've been to a Yuck Yucks. I have not been on stage at a Yuck Yucks.
Okay, I've done a ton of Yuck Yucks, and I did Yuck Yucks on tour, where you go to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Regina, all these
Sure.
little towns all over, and you drive all over, called Yuck Yucks on tour. And I remember I went to go meet the comedian that I was working with, staying it was called the Blackfoot Hotel in Calgary. And, I always like to introduce myself to the other comedian. And I go and I say, okay. He goes, come on by. He was hosting some other people. So he says to me, so do you drink? I said, not really. He goes, do you smoke pot? I said, not really. He goes, okay, you're driving. Exactly.
That's great.
So and it was a lot of fun. And yeah. So anyway, so then I'm in Canada, and I was playing tennis. They gave me permission at this club, Calgary Tennis Club, actually, and one of the people that were playing there was also the janitor, who had murdered his father with a bat when he was 7 years old. And he was out of jail. I don't know when they let him out, and the Canadians told me, he goes, we're socialists here. We let everybody play, let everybody be part of the club. If he works for the club, we let him have privileges here as well. And that inspired me to say to the retirement communities, and I also heard Michael Moore talk about it, that capitalism is a cruel system, and and really you should be able to get health care. You shouldn't only be able to get it if you're rich or you can afford it or middle class. So I thought, these people have never seen a comedy show. None of these people, when comedy was really big in the 80s, these people weren't going there. They were raising their kids or they're doing whatever. And so I don't think it would be fair to not give people a comedy show just because they couldn't afford it as much as a place down the street. So that's where the inspiration came. So there you have it.
Nice. All right. We only got a couple more minutes. Maybe like your number one lesson from performing at these retirement communities.
I have a better. Oh gosh, I have to tell you. I have to tell you the best lesson I ever learned in comedy. I think, but I have to tell you, but it's from clubs.
Okay.
And it was because I can't go back to Laughs in Tucson. Have you ever done Laughs in Tucson?
No.
Well, the owner, and now his sons took over. He asks me every time I call, are you the girl? And listen, I did it 26 years ago. And I got in touch with him maybe 5 years ago. So it was almost 20 years then. He goes, are you the girl that messed up the introductions? And I said, I don't know. But what I did learn is when you're an opener that you have to not mess up your introductions. And I have to tell you, and Rocky Laporte at the Punchline in Atlanta. Have you ever done that one?
I know of it. And
Do you
I know
know
of
Rocky
as well. I almost did a show with him a couple years ago.
Okay, cool. Well, I was doing Mesquite for Pat Wilson, who we do Medford for, right?
Yep.
Did you ever do Mesquite for her?
I haven't, no.
Okay, so she doesn't have that anymore. But anyway, so I was doing the introduction. She pays the opener in the middle the same amount so people don't fight over it. And they paid very well. And so I was the opener. I put the middle acts on one side of the card and the headliners on the other side of the card. And I went out there, and apparently they said to each other backstage, wouldn't it be funny if she screwed up the introduction and thought I was you? And that's exactly what I did. But what made it weird is that the one comic went as Cowboy John and wore a cowboy hat and cowboy boots and a guitar. So he was like, you could not be more different when you call out Cowboy John. And the guy's just a regular guy. And so, I know.
That's great. So, well, we got to wrap this up. So that's the number one lesson from Candy the comedian. If you're bringing people on stage, make sure you get their names right. Candy, how can people find you if they want to, if an activities director is watching this and wants to book you?
Or any club. Okay, go to youtube.com. Oh, how do they want to get in touch with me or watch? Okay, in touch with me, Candy, CANDY, sweettoothproductions@gmail.com. Candy, like you eat, .sweettoothproductions@gmail. I'm on YouTube. So
great. Thank you, Candy. Stick around for a second. We're going to end this.